loved his family. He especially loved, and I mean that with all my heart. He talked about you all in levels you cannot believe how much he loved you all. I hope you carry that with you forever. I really do. He loved being a mason.
Hi everybody, I'm Hazel, that's Chris's daughter. I apologize in advance, this is very randomly, but I knew if I didn't write it down, I'd probably talk. And not just dad. There's a quote unquote tradition on my dad's side of the family. My Grammy, his mom, used to call her mom by her first name. My dad noticed this and decided that he was going to call my Grammy by her first name, Connie. He told me that he expected me to someday call him by his first name to keep the tradition alive. I think that for now I'll just stick to Dad. He was a writer. From a very early age, he made sure that I understood the basics of English. One of my earliest memories is when I was very little. I decided that I was going to write a letter to my friend. I sat down and I had my pencil and my paper and I wrote up this beautiful letter, very superior to anything that any other child has written ever. I finished it and I went to my dad and I showed it to him. I was very proud and he told me she will never be able to because my experience with writing had come from SpongeBob SquarePants, where they only write in squiggly lines. But what he did is he took me and he sat me down and he gave me a fresh piece of paper and he said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to write. So he gave me a pencil and started to teach me how to write the letter A. I acted like my arm was getting chopped off. But I can write now pretty well, so thank you, Dad.
There you go.
I don't want to talk too long, but my dad did so much in my life. When I was very little, he convinced me to do basketball. He said that I made him promise that only if he would be my coach, and he was for several years. And I kept doing it for several years after he stopped coaching me. He also made sure that I was very cultured, always had me listen to Jimmy Buffett and rock music. Tons of movies. He showed me from a very early age Jaws, which is now my favorite movie. At the time, my mom wasn't exactly happy that he showed me that, but we're fine now, and you know. Before he passed away, we were actually watching the show Lost. We were in season 2. It's a very, very good show. You should all watch it. Every episode would end with me either staring at the TV with just a look of shock and horror on my face, or it would end with me screaming at it and then at my dad to give me some spoilers. And he would always sit there with a very stupid grin on his face. Continued watching. My dad, he always made sure that I was an accepting person, and he taught me how to love others. Taught me how to think for myself. It's one of the greatest gifts that both of my parents have given me, is always thinking for myself. He was a big softie. I know that he probably talked to a lot of you very sarcastically. He did the same to me. It was you. Whenever me and my brother got sick, it was usually him who would come and get us out of school. And he would always joke, "How you doing, Siggy?" But then he would make sure that we had enough water or food, crackers, whatever we needed. He would go out and get medicine, make sure we were sleeping enough. Many of you probably know about his one-ton food drive that he did here at the lodge last summer. Me and my brother were actually the first people he told us about that idea. He was giddy. He was so excited that he might be able to help these kids. And one night, a couple months after the food drive had ended, he got me an email, and I heard him crying from my room. And I come out, I'm like, "Dad, what's wrong? Are you okay?" He's sitting there crying his eyes out. He's like, "We helped feed so many kids." And it meant a lot to him. And I know you guys are going to help continue that, and I say thank you for that, because it made him so happy. He really was the best.
He did so much for so many people. He was caring and funny and sarcastic and smart. I could always talk to him about anything. And I'm sure that right now he's bent over laughing at how much I'm stroking his ego. I'm gonna miss my dad. I know everyone here is. But I know that he's in a better place. Dad, I love you 3,000, as Morgan Stark said to Iron Man. So, yeah. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Of the Order of Free and Accepted Masons. I wish to explain that from time immemorial, it has been the custom in our fraternity to conduct the last rites for a brother in fraternal sympathy in his honor when requested by family or friends. In conformity to that ancient usage, we are offering our last tribute of affection, Brother Crhistopher P. Chag, who was born on June 22nd, 1975 in Manchester, New Hampshire. Brother Chag was made an eminent apprentice Mason on February 12, 2002. Passed the degree of Fellowcraft on May 21st, 2002. And raised to the sublime degree of Master Mason on June 22nd, 2002 as a member of Winter Park Masonic Lodge number 239 under the Grand Jurisdiction of Florida. Brother Chag served as Senior Deacon in 2008, Junior Warden in 2009, Senior Warden in 2010, and was installed as Worshipful Master in 2011. In 2012, after serving as Worshipful Master, Brother Chag assumed the position of Secretary and has held that position until his passing. Of particular note, Brother Chag received his Gold Proficiency Card in 2010. In 2002, Brother Chag was made a 32nd degree Master of the Royal Secret in the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite, Valley of Orlando, and was an active member of the 4th and 31st degree teams. Brother Chag was also a member of the Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine with the Bahia Shriners Chapter, and the Order of Eastern Star with Pioneer Chapter number 99. Brother Chag served our fraternity for over 17 years, and on the 10th of March, 2020, Brother Chris laid down his working tools and was called to the Celestial Lodge above. By this service, we demonstrate our esteem for him and a steady attachment to the principles of our fraternity. Brother Chaplain, lead us in prayer. While we do commit his remains to eternal rest, we do not bury the spirit, for the spirit never dies. It is only this physical body, this earthly house in which the spirit lives, that dies. All that is called the spirit lives on. So our brother Chris lives on this day. He lives on in the memory of those who knew and loved him. He lives on in the affection of all who knew the kindness of his heart and the true nobility of his mind. He lives on in the example his life gives to those who are striving as he strove in the path of duty and right. Yes, he lives on in the record he made in the community in which he lived as an upright man and Mason and as a member of the many organizations to which he belonged. Since he was a member of the Masonic fraternity, I am confident that he would have you and I who are assembled here this day to be numbered among those who have faith enough to believe that the faces we have loved and lost will be seen again, that the voices which have cheered and comforted us will be heard again, and that the hand which has been unloosened for a little space will again be clasped in tender loving pressure. Then shall all this which now seems to us such a mystery of providence be revealed unto us. Then shall we gain that which we have lost. Death is a solemn visitor. Solemn because it is irrevocable and fills our hearts with sadness. Although we know that he is a messenger from God to summon our loved one from the troubled cares of this world to a life of peace and rest. And we know that he will soon come to us all with that which is promised in the great light of truth. Yet he is unwelcome. The reality of the lesson taught by the scythe of time, which cut the brittle thread of life and launches us into eternity, should teach us to prepare to enjoy the fadeless light of immortality through the eternal ages. We grieve because one so near to us is gone. The wise and just author of nature intended by the endowment of our senses and sympathies that we should be social creatures, enjoying the friendship and society of one another. By Masonry, we are taught to regard all mankind as one family, the high, the low, the rich, the poor, who are to aid, support, and protect each other. We find in the performance of these duties the universal gratitude that binds us closer in the bonds of brotherly love and affection. It is the breaking of these ties, the loss of companionship, the sudden ending of all association with our departed brother that plunges us into sorrow. Perhaps, when we better understand the will of God, we may welcome death and receive him as a kind messenger when he comes to take us from this imperfect to that all-perfect, glorious, and celestial lodge above, where the great architect of the universe presides. Surely we can rely upon the promise of God, wherein it is stated, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live, and whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. To the friends here assembled, I am pleased to explain that every member of our order of free and accepted Masons has expressed his firm belief in the ever-living and true God, the creator of heaven and earth, who giveth life and receiveth it again unto himself. With this firm reliance upon a divine promise, how triumphantly we can exclaim, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? This occasion, my friends and brethren, has a devout emphasis in its solemnity. It tells of the grief of affectionate relatives and friends, of the breaking of all earthly ties which bound us to our departed brother, and reminds us that these trials must soon come to all of us, as it is the inevitable adventure of all mankind. He who has been called from us was our brother. Side by side we traveled life's rugged pathways. We rejoiced with him when fortune smiled and sympathized with him when she frowned. Our presence here today is evidence that we loved him and remember him for his many fine qualities. He has been called from us. His labor on earth is over. The earthly house of his immortal life has fallen, and like thousands gone before us, he has found the perfect resting place in immortality. As perfection on earth is not attained, and the wisest and best of men have sometimes erred, let us then, whatever his faults or omissions might have been, fold around him that broad mantle of Masonic charity, and remember that we have duties to perform, duties to God, to our country, to our neighbors, and to ourselves, that we may enjoy health and the many blessings of a beautiful nature while traveling through life and assisting and comforting those less fortunate, thereby fitting ourselves as living stones for that spiritual building, that house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. We too are mortal. Today our bodies are strong and vigorous, but they soon, like his, must be consigned to the God who gave it. With reverence then, let us appeal to him whose goodness knows no bounds, that when the hour shall arrive and the fading taper of our lives shall faintly glimmer and cease, our faith in the great and glorious Father will guide us to a bright and happy life in that house prepared for us, where love keeps open the doors through the endless ages of eternity. May Almighty God, in his infinite wisdom, grant that we meet our brother there, never to part again. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in his path, in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The lambskin, or this white apron, is an emblem of innocence and the time-honored badge of a Mason. More ancient than the golden fleece or Roman eagle, more honorable than the star and garter when worthily worn. This emblem, I now retire as a reminder that through the universal dominion of death, our brother Chris has completed his earthly labors, and his account now rests with God. The evergreen, which once marked the temporary resting place of the illustrious dead, is an emblem of our belief in the immortality of the soul. By it, we are reminded that we have an immortal part within us that shall never, never, no, never die. By it, we are reminded, or by this, we are also reminded that we too shall soon be clothed in the habiliments of death. Yet through our belief in the mercy of Almighty God, we can confidently hope that our spirits will bloom in eternal spring. This I place upon the apron with the exclamation, alas, my brother. I will now render public grand honors. We cherish his memory here. We commend his spirit to God who gave it, and consign his remains to eternal rest. Inasmuch as it hath pleased Almighty God in his infinite wisdom to take unto himself the spirit of our deceased brother, we now therefore commit his remains to eternal rest. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. There to remain until the trump shall sound on that resurrection morn, we can confidently leave him in the hands of a being who doeth all things well, who is glorious in holiness, fearful in praise, doing wonders. To the sorrowing family and friends who are most heart-stricken at the loss you have sustained, we can only offer our feeble assistance and deeply sympathize with you in this your bereavement, and give you the assurance that he, who doeth all things well, looks down with infinite compassion upon you and will lend his hand to lead you in all the paths your feet must tread. Brother Chaplain, lead us in prayer and pronounce the benediction.
Of his countenance upon us, give us peace, both now and forever. Amen.
So it be.
This concludes the Masonic service. We'd like to thank the family and friends for allowing us to say goodbye to Brother Chris. At this point, the Worshipful Master, Chad Tokar, will make a presentation to Lady Beth.
For yours to keep. Okay, and then I have a presentation on that one. This pin was created as an emblem to symbolize our continued concern and honor for the widow of a brother Master Mason, a brother whose name added luster to the craft as he honored us in his work in the quarry. Now that his name has been entered upon the roll of the Celestial Lodge, we cannot forget those things which he loves so deeply, nor can we be unmindful of our duty to him or his family. It is my distinct privilege to present this emblem to you that you may wear it with great pride. It is our desire that it be to you a reminder of your ties to us, a relationship wherein you will find friends who will assist you in times of need, join with you in times of gladness, and welcome you to a continued association with us as we continue our labors of friendship, brotherly love, and truth. You are not alone. When moments may cause you to doubt, look at the emblem and be assured that we are there and we care. The Masonic Widow's Pin was created with the hope that it would be worn by the widow of a Master Mason on all appropriate occasions, especially when traveling, so that she may be recognized, greeted, and assisted when necessary by Masonic friends throughout the world. It is an emblem of honor and should be worn separately, not in conjunction with other jewelry. May she who wears this emblem find that she is not alone, that we are there and we always care. Could you be anything else on me, please? Who else?
The last one.
Last, my brother.